another great Joaquin Phoenix film this year, Beau is Afraid. Now, this gets my label for the most bonkers film of the year because it was completely bonkers.
Of the decade,
possibly, yeah, or go as far as to say of the millennium so far. In 23 years, has there been a film as bonkers as this? Maybe not on that scale, because it's Ari Aster, who is an up-and-coming director. He's done some great stuff, mainly in the horror genre, obviously things like Midsommar and Hereditary. So he's got a proven track record and a fan base. You know, A24 style director. It's like, yeah, he's done some good stuff. I personally loved Midsommar. I wasn't so crazy on Hereditary. Probably the other way around with you, but still, very good films. This one was something else. Not a horror film.
No.
Not a comedy. Not just a straight drama. Not a thriller, but had all of these elements in it, and very surreal if anything. Reminded me of a Spike Jonze movie, you know, your being John Malkovich, your adaptation,
yes, yeah,
all these sort of, but even that taken to the nth degree, where it was like, oh my god, what are we watching here?
Yeah, you know, David Lynch, yeah, that kind of.
I mean, we could do a whole podcast on this film, and it would be 2.5 hours long, and that still wouldn't be enough time to unpack everything that went on in it. So we want to just cover it in a few minutes here. You know, it's kind of hard to know exactly what to say, but.
It's interesting because obviously he's earned the right to make a film like this. It's a very personal film, from what we understand from his interviews, because of the success of Hereditary and Midsommar, which were terrific films. Midsommar, I adored. I thought it was absolutely. But this was just like, it was interesting because the opening section, about 10 minutes long. The opening section, 10-15 minutes.
I think the first bit was my favourite bit, actually, when he's in his apartment.
But it almost kind of like, I can kind of understand this. This is...
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, but it's a bit straightforward. And then it just goes into stuff and you're like, what's happening now?
Yeah, well, at first he's just trying to leave his flat, isn't he? And he's meant to be getting on a plane to go and see his mum. And things kind of fuck up. So it's almost like a comedy of errors. Oh, he's locked himself out. Oh, there's people trying to get in his apartment. Oh, there's these crazy gangs outside on the street that are, you know, he's almost living in a kind of, it's like Mad Max out there, you know, where there's just nutters on the streets. And, you know, you could understand that it's talking about anxiety. It's talking about other mental health struggles that people have, that, you know, just agoraphobia, whatever, not wanting to go outside, face the world, especially when it's in such a messed up state. So you can kind of relate to a lot of stuff that happens in the first 15, 20 minutes. But as you say, he sort of move on from that on his odyssey, so to speak, because he's determined to get to his mother's place. It does go to directions you never expected to. It's almost next section, he's with that family, with, what's his name? Is it Nathan Lane and all those
Nathan
people?
Lane.
He's hilarious. He's brilliant. Hilarious in it. And the daughter, you know, she's really crazy, and oh my god, that scene with her in the bedroom and the paint. Oh god, you know, some of it is shocking. You know, some stuff I laughed out loud and I was thinking, this is hilarious. This is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. But other stuff's like, this is the most disturbing shit I've ever seen as well. So you put in that, you never let you feel comfortable. As you're about to settle in and get comfortable with anything, he throws you out again, and then we move into the next stage that gets even more trippy, you know, where he's in the forest, and it becomes like, I was reminded of things like that Kurosawa movie where Dreams, it's called, where he's talking about his dreams, and you got Scorsese playing Van Gogh in there, and all this colourful kind of almost like theatrical set design. And then he gets a whole family in there, and all. Oh, by that point, you forgot you were watching the guy who was trying to get out of his apartment.
Exactly. It's like an anthology movie, and he's following through. But you're just like, you don't know what's next, and they feel very separate but very connected at the same time, and it's very.
It is a true odyssey, you know, in terms of
it is
that kind of undertaking.
That's an interesting analogy, actually. An odyssey. It is kind of. Jason and the Argonauts-esque kind of
Yeah.
mind trip. I thought I'd dropped acid when I'd watched it.
That Ulysses, Homer's Odyssey, you know. Yeah, it is a very trippy film. It's very surreal and abstract in a lot of its ideas and its visuals and stuff. I mean, you know, the infamous attic scene. It goes into
Well, that's
by that point, I was just like, "Oh my god, he's taking the piss here. He's taking the piss."
I thought, I say, like, Little Shop of Horrors. I was just like,
yeah, okay. or Weird Science, you know, where she turns him into the toad or the turd or whatever he's supposed to be. It was kind of like that, but it's a huge cock and balls, and it was like, "Oh, okay, all right." But yeah, crazy film. Absolutely one that you'd have to go back to several times, I think, to glean everything out of it and get some sort of like subtextual weight from it, because there's obviously a lot more to it than you just get on the surface, but there's so much to take in on the surface. You're left just thinking, wow, what have I just watched? I don't know what I just watched. So it's impressive for that way. I'm very brave of him to not go, oh, I'm going to make another Hereditary or I'm going to make another Midsommar. And he's you know, whereas Robert Eggers did that with The Northman, and I think that tanked and failed, and he didn't do a great job with that. Aster has gone and done this, and it just makes you think, what is he capable of?
Yeah, it's a very brave film, and you respect the craftsmanship out of it.
And well. Joaquin is he's just perfect.
Amazing.
In it. He's perfect in it.
And I think it is.
No one has ever acted incredulity as well as he did in this film. He's just constantly like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And you're watching it going, I can't believe this is happening to you. You're the unluckiest man ever. No one has ever been as unlucky as you.
But I think something like Mulholland Drive or something, this is going to be one of those films where you just forever picking away at what's this about?
Yeah.
I'll call the police.
No, look, I'm paying.
If you have enjoyed this video, please consider supporting us at buymeacoffee.com or join us on Patreon. All links below.